the key to winning 80 to 90% of my listing appointments is I will walk in cognizant that that other agent is just going to say, I'm the number one agent. Look at my stats, look at my slide deck, look about me. The thing that wins me the listings is I don't care about me. What's your problem? And then let me create a custom solution for your problem. My platform is real estate agents that are doing 10 to 15 deals that want to get to 50 and then potentially build a team and sell 500 a year. Then you're going to hear it in my content as I offer an hour of my time to bring all of these people on a call and say, let's talk about time management and talk about the problems that you have. And you're going to get me for an hour. I'm not for hire. You can't hire me, but I'm going to make my time for my audience. That is going to help me then build out the curriculum versus me thinking I know what their problems are and saying, here's your 12 steps to the perfect schedule. That's how I'm going to build the curriculum, is it's going to give me the feedback from the audience on what to create.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Glennda's Guru. Today, I am so excited to have my friend Justin Konikow from London, Ontario, Canada. Correct, Justin?
That is correct, yes.
You would think as many times as I've heard you say that I would have been able to roll that off with no problem. My friend Justin Konikow from London, Ontario, Canada. It's the accent that kind of throws it, I think. Justin, before we get started, let me just kind of let people know, like how I know you, a little bit about what I know about you, and what intrigues me the most about you. Are you good with that?
Go for it. I'd love to hear it.
Awesome sauce. So Justin obviously is in Canada. How in the world would I find some real estate agent in Canada other than an app called Clubhouse? So back during the pandemic, a few of us kind of rolled into an app called Clubhouse. Think about if a podcast in a chat room had a baby, that is Clubhouse. And you go into these rooms and you talk about different subjects. And so every evening, and I want to say it was was it at 7 p.m. or 5 p.m.?
That's right. Oh man, you're bringing me back to the REN networking room. Yeah, 7 p.m.
Yeah. So every evening at 7 p.m., we would get in this room called Real Estate Networking, and we would meet a bunch of different real estate agents and we would talk about real estate. And it was awesome. I mean, I absolutely loved it. And so Justin really, I was very attracted to him as a thought leader, as a leader in our real estate industry. And Justin was probably one of the first people for me that ever talked about real estate marketing as his media company. And I love that. I love the way he thought. I have the opportunity to hang out with Justin every week in Clubhouse on Wednesday in Good Morning Real Estate, a room that I co-host with my friend Ginger Walker. And Justin joins us on stage as one of our moderators. But Justin, you are a real estate broker. You have your own company in Canada. And you have many agents that work with you. You have a team. And so for the people who don't know you, the people who haven't had the opportunity to run across you and your greatness, tell our listeners a little bit about you.
So I guess I always joke with clients when I meet them for the first time that I'm not really a real estate agent. I kind of just play one on TV. And I tell them that the first time I meet them to kind of break the pattern of what they expect. Because when I walk into a listing appointment, they expect me to be a real estate agent and kind of sell them on why they should use me, show them my 40-page slide deck on, look at, I'm a great producer, I'm the number one agent at the number one brokerage, blah, 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 right? And I never really wanted to be a real estate agent. I think I'm a marketer, I'm a storyteller, I'm a cinematographer by nature, and I happen to use real estate as my vehicle. And my wife, who's my business partner, she's very much the CEO, operations, MBA from the Richard Ivey School of Business brain. So if I step back for a minute, yes, I am a real estate agent. I actively sell real estate. And I think one thing that I really enjoyed in our friendship and what I think attracted me to when I heard you speak was you're an actual operator. There's a lot of people in our business who pretend they're real estate agents, but they don't actually sell. People talk a lot about a job that they don't actually do because it's easy to put that forth on social media. I like to do the opposite, and I like to document what I'm doing and then put that out to the universe. And that's kind of how we built our business. And I think my background, I always kind of share this story that when I got into real estate, I was kicking and screaming and my wife kind of threw me off a cliff. I was in hospitality, right? I went to school for digital imaging and animation, thought I was going to be a video game designer. Then I ended up in hospitality. And there's a path that I went down that wasn't the best path ever because I was in that space. But I was always in customer service, and my niche was kind of taking restaurants or brands that were struggling, repackaging them, getting new people there, and breathing life into them. My wife kept mentioning real estate because she had gotten licensed 7 years before we even thought of the idea, and said, hey, I could handle the business end, you can handle the sales and marketing. I think we'd absolutely crush it. She kind of tricked me into getting my license to save commissions on the investment properties I want to buy, which is hilarious. But when we got into the business, we really did look at creating a company that wasn't a brokerage. So we now own a company called Prime Real Estate Brokerage, which is kind of ironic. But we're a company that specializes in the marketing and sales of real estate. We're not a brokerage from the sense that we don't recruit. We don't care about agent count, office count. And then I guess the other big piece there is the media companies we own work in tandem with the real estate brokerage. So we have Prime Real Estate, Prime Media Productions, and Prime Media Agency that all operate as one unit when we're going to execute against real estate sales. And now it's morphed into a little bit more where we've separated the brands, where obviously Prime is real estate focused consumers. My personal brand is more geared towards people like you, Glennda, obviously people that are listening to the show, teaching them how to go from 10 to 15 deals a year to hundreds of transactions, building a team, and more the entrepreneurship aspect, all while allowing me to create content, which is really my favorite thing, right? So I use real estate and business to do that.
I love that. So Justin, let me ask you a question. So do you have like courses that you sell or that you give? What is your training like platform look like?
So for the brokerage, like for my agents?
No, for like people like me or people like Susie in Sarasota or Nancy in Nebraska.
So, I mean, if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see hundreds of hours of me showing how I use my CRM, how I pick up clients, marketing, how to create content, videos, running a sales team, a lot of mindset stuff too, right? Because I had a bit of a sordid past where I could have gone one of two ways. I feel like God saved me 3 times and kept knocking on the door saying, you done? And I had to make the decision for myself because he won't make it for me. And when I made the decision, he unlocked a life I could have never imagined. So I really use that platform as the training. I will say, and this may be the first place I've said it kind of publicly, we are going to be offering more structured trainings. I've pushed back against it for a long time, but I started auditing agents. I'm like, what's your number one problem? What's your number one problem? And the first thing that came up was time management. And I'm building out a curriculum right now to share with people that are interested an entire breakdown on how I front load my year, how I run the companies, how I run the team, how I still find time to go fishing and doing the things that I love, and feeling less overwhelmed in a business where it always feels like you're falling forward. So it's coming, Glenn, in a little bit more structured fashion to answer your question.
I love it. I love that. And, I have been one of the people that has really been the beneficiary of your knowledge. I think that you have such an amazing approach, not only to your business, but also how you, I don't want to say deal with people or deal with other agents, but let's say how you work with them. And I think that the way that you work with people, the way that you compose your communication is very interesting to me. Because always when you communicate, I notice that you are very other person focused. You're very focused on listening to the other person, finding a solution for the other person. You're very in tune with how you can help them. And I think that that's such an interesting way to communicate for somebody who is obviously a badass, obviously a leader in their industry and in their brokerage. Is it intentional, or is it something that just happens naturally?
I think there's 2 pieces to that. I think one is there's an innate curiosity, right? I think the marketplace of ideas and just talking about stuff makes me better at what I do. So I'll equate it to the Jiu-Jitsu Academy, where if you go into a Jiu-Jitsu Academy and you just study a book 24/7, you never get on the mats, you'll never get better. Versus if you start rolling with black belts, you talk about stuff, you work through the problems, you're helping the other person, but you're helping yourself. So like it's giving is this most selfish thing that I can do, because the more I bring out ideas and we work through stuff, I'm like, I rethink ideas that I thought were correct. And maybe I discovered that they're not through communication. The second thing though is, as you're explaining it, I think if I think of all the jobs I've ever had, every single one was typically being of service, right? And always being that person that I wasn't necessarily the star of the show, but I was the person setting the table, ushering you in, making sure you had a seat, making sure that, hey, if a fight was going to break out, that I would catch that before it would actually happen. I was a DJ at one point, making sure that the energy in the room was abundant. And like, it drives me nuts if I walk into a restaurant and it's dead silent. I will talk to the staff and tell them, like, you have to create the atmosphere. So I genuinely think, if I look at all the positions that I could have, and there's different types of people. There's people that are analytical and very good at that, like my wife. And there's people that are creators. And I think I probably, if I was going to take all those avatars, I'm probably a combination of, say, like a service provider and a creator. And then if I think of the door that I chose to walk through, which was through my faith, the person that I look up to the most out of everybody on that wall is that guy right there. And he was the one who put himself in the posture of service more than any other. So I consider that to be the biggest honor. So I think that's why I listen, is if I don't listen, then how could I possibly serve people?
Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, so that kind of gives me a segue. I was going to ask you, or I was going to mention, you are a disciple of Sirhan. You know, the Ryan, the Ryan Sirhan.
That's funny.
You know, kind of sell it. And rather than saying you're a disciple, I'm going to say that you're one of the apostles for him. And I truly believe that, because you really have embraced, and you know, I think Ryan is amazing. He's an amazing marketer. He's an amazing business person. I think that you have really kind of been able to take those pieces and really justify them. And I love watching you, especially with this new series where you're behind the scenes, your raw video, that kind of video content, not quite so
polished,
not so edited or produced. So talk to me a little bit about how you got into video, and how you fell in love with it from a real estate perspective, and how it would help your business in real estate. And then eventually how it's going to help you with this, training platform that you're looking to do.
For sure. So the whole journey, like the video journey, actually started with Gary Vee, and I've got the wall of champions behind me. Some of them are famous, some aren't. There's Gary, there's Ryan, there's a bunch of other people that I look up to in different ways. When I was getting into real estate, I was always a creator. I shot, I edited, like my background was digital imaging and animations. I liked making movies. Even when I was a kid, I remember I took Spaceballs and like chopped it up and made my own version of it. I thought it was the greatest thing ever. Nobody in my class thought it was funny. I just thought it was the bee's knees. But I always kind of had that in me. So I was looking for, like, how do we stand out in real estate? This was 2012. And I saw Gary Vee give a talk to Remax, and then I started following him, and he was doing Daily V, really short videos, 1-minute videos on whatever, right? So I started the Closers Daily, and every single day I'd be reading a contract, and I would read the deposit clause, and I would explain the deposit clause. Or I'd be at an inspection, see an octopus furnace, and I explain an octopus furnace. So I put out thousands of these videos before short form was cool. Instagram hated me. I had 100 followers. Nobody was watching my content because nobody did short form content. They didn't reward it, right? It was very much your grid photos, but my phone would ring. Like, I didn't have a lot of followers. I didn't get a lot of comments. And by all vanity metrics, I wasn't successful on social media, not until probably 2017 or 18. But I was getting a lot of listings, and everybody told me they watched all my videos. So I didn't look for the vanity metrics of success. I looked at, well, this is clearly working. And then I started expanding on that. And there's no new ideas, right? Like, I took that idea from Gary Vee. $1 Million Listing came out. And it wasn't even Ryan that I saw the first time. It was Frederick. It was a cottage in Aspen. I remember the tour that he did. I sent it to a videographer. I had 46 Virginia Ave in Stony Brook in London. I'm like, we're doing this. And he's like, that's a $14 million property. This is a regular home in Stony Brook. That's like $400,000. Like, what do you mean we're doing this? I'm like, doesn't matter. We're doing it. And I've always been that guy. That's like, I get an idea. I'm like, let's just try it. Even if it doesn't work out, that's how we do it. And I think in terms of where it's gone now too, it's at a whole different level with the production company. And obviously I have a creative director and I have a team behind me, and I do it at a high level because it produces business at a high level. My listing videos are borderline movies and I enjoy doing them. So that's one reason why I do them, but also they help me sell properties. Vanity metrics wise, they don't get the most views, but the people that buy our properties on average will watch those videos 9 to 16 times. And I'm selling through the other agent that doesn't know anything about the property. I get to pitch to their buyer through my video. So that's never going to stop.
Stop. Ladies and gentlemen, let's just say that again for the people in the back, because that, Justin, right there was a huge nugget. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you missed that part, let's just rewind that. Justin says his videos are watched 9 to 16 times on average by the people who buy them. So it gives him the opportunity as the listing agent to speak directly to the buyer about the reasons to buy this house, the vision about buying this house, how you're going to live in this house. You want to talk about a absolute genius point of view perspective and why to do video. That, my friends, is it. Justin, nail on head. Go ahead.
I talk really fast. So if you're watching this and you don't, Glennda's used to it, but if you're not used to it, you may have to watch this in like half speed when I talk. So there's that component of it, and that won't change. Now on the short form side of things and everything else, like I've tried to keep up with everybody else on social media. We all have seen the views go down. We've seen the engagement go down, and it's volume of content. I think where I've realized things are really shifting, and Hormozy was just talking about this, there's a giant shift from volume of content to depth of content, and actually getting very niche, talking to specific people about specific problems that they have. And if I look at my two platforms, there's Prime Real Estate, which is buyers, sellers, and investors looking for real estate in all of Southwestern Ontario, or to connect with any of my referral partners, right? We've talked a bunch on different referral partners. I've connected you with people, and that's what that platform is. My platform is real estate agents that are doing 10 to 15 deals that want to get to 50 and then potentially build a team and sell 500 a year. And they want to build an organization under them. So I've gotten very clear in terms of where my content's going, where yes, I love sharing things about photography. I love sharing things about mindset, my faith, but my channel is not going to grow, and I'm not going to be serving any person in that capacity if I'm trying to speak to everybody. So my content, the one you were referencing, was something I also noticed that's doing really well, going away from the short form, attention seeking content to long form, Sam Sulik vlog style content, where you are just riding with me in my car, going to farmers markets, setting up properties for showings, hearing me talk to my team, hearing me negotiate deals. It's interesting watching the videos. I don't get a ton of views on them, but when I'm looking at the metrics on YouTube on the back end, the amount of suggested and the amount of people it's putting it in front of more than normal is telling me that that's what YouTube wants me to do. So in terms of how it's going to lead to the next step is, as I build that audience, then you're going to hear it in my content as I offer an hour of my time to bring all of these people on a call and say, let's talk about time management and talk about the problems that you have. And you're going to get me for an hour. I'm not for hire. You can't hire me, but I'm going to make my time for my audience once a month to talk about this problem. That is going to help me then build out the curriculum versus me thinking I know what their problems are and saying, here's your 12 steps to the perfect schedule. That's how I'm going to build the curriculum. It's going to give me the feedback from the audience on what to create. And then the course will drop after that with the solutions to the problems that the people told me they had.
Oh my gosh, I love that. And I think that you are 100%, sequencing the events properly because, like real estate, we walk into the listing presentation and we start talking at them. We don't seek information. We don't ask them why they're moving. We don't ask them what their motivation is. We walk in and it's like, I'm number one. I sold 123 Banana Street. I sold 125 Banana Street. You should hire me because I'm number one. And we just like vomit all over the seller. And really where the magic is in being a listing agent is, number one, being curious. And number two, understanding and being able to dive a little bit deeper and decipher what they're saying. And then you can actually curate your presentation to what the seller is looking for. And really, you can curate your marketing plan on how you can help them, get their home sold. So I love that. I love that.
I'm
And
going to jump in for a second too,
yeah.
because I shared that on my last vlog. It's actually been front and center in my mind. And this is probably the biggest nugget that I'll give your audience watching is the key to winning 80 to 90% of my listing appointments is I will walk in cognizant that that other agent is just going to say, I'm the number one agent. Look at my stats, look at my slide deck, look about me. The thing that wins me the listings is I don't care about me. What's your problem? And then let me create a custom solution for your problem. I do a 2-stage listing appointment because I want that ability to come back. And I actually call it a project scope now, where I'm treating it as if I'm consulting with a multi-million-dollar business. And when people feel like you're creating a custom solution for them, and you actually are, I think that separates you from 90% of our industry.
So again, I want to go back. I want my audience to re-listen to that statement. What is the problem? And let me create a custom solution for you.
Mm-hmm.
And do you think that that sounds a little bit different than every other real estate agent that walks in and says, I'm number one? I mean, Justin, of there's so many things that I love about listening to you. But one of the things that I love the most is that you are very tactical and practical, and you show me how to take away what you say and apply it in my business today. I think that's why any course that you did would be amazingly successful, just because you really have this ability to extrapolate like all of the pieces, sequence them out, and then tell people how to execute on them in a way that they can execute. You remind me, and I hope you take this as the compliment that it is. You remind me so much of Andy Stanley. Andy Stanley is the pastor at my church, North Point Community Church, and very similar. He has the ability to take the information and to put it into terms that not only people understand, but that people will use. And I think that that is such an asset that you bring to the table as an agent, number one, for your seller, but also as an agent for the co-op agent as well. So I love that. I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay. So Justin, so let me ask you, what is it that excites you about the business every day? Like, come on, like go fishing, like go do something else, hang out with your daughter. Like, what is it that you love about the business today?
So I think, and I'll give you the stack. You've heard me say this 1,000 times for that people that don't know me. My stack is faith, family, fitness, fun, finances. That's the order in which I structure my life. I front load my year in that order, make sure that my heart's right with God, my relationship with my family is in the best place that it can be. My fitness is in a good place, so I can go do the fun things that I want to do. And the little time I have left to devote to my finances is working, generating income, and investing that income. So I think what I love about my life is I wake up every day with purpose, and it doesn't have to be super fancy. It doesn't have to be the $10 million listing. It can be the $200,000 house. It can be solving people's problems. It can be standing in the gap for my team. The other piece, being of service, feels great. But standing in the gap for my people, I have the ability to take bullets that other people just can't and not let it phase me because of my past life. And I think that is a superpower that I didn't kind of realize that I had. And, I always thought like I should strive for comfort, but I think I strive more for the discomfort. And I think when I lived my life without purpose and I lived my life for myself, treated my body like an amusement park, treated my relationships like an amusement park. And it was the most miserable experience of my entire life. And I think when I wake up with purpose and I strive towards discomfort, I'm not necessarily defined by the transactions I'm doing. I'm more defined by the person that I'm becoming. And we talked about that this morning, is my work through the relationships, through the good times, the bad times, the good clients, the bad clients. I'm finding the version of myself that I think I was made to be. And I don't know that I'd be able to do that in any other industry, to be quite honest with you.
Wow. I love that. I love that. And we talked a little bit about this morning about what's your race pace. We talked a little bit about this morning about where is your green zone being where you make the most money. And I love that every week we're in a room together and we kind of get to think tank, spitball, bounce ideas off of each other. Let me ask you a question now, and we've never met. I mean, obviously,
That's
you know
crazy.
that.
Yeah, it's crazy for you to say that. That's funny.
It's crazy, isn't it? So, and my listeners don't realize that we've never met, but we've never met. But and by the way, how's your hip?
It's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, I feel like a new man. I completely don't remember I even had the surgery. So it's
That's
game
awesome.
changer.
So and ladies and gentlemen, like I just asked him about his hip. Like that's the thing is like when you're in a relationship with someone, you don't have to be with them in the same place. Justin and I get to talk, multiple times a week. We get to hang out. We get to talk about real estate. We get to talk about our family. And so it's a really, really cool thing. But so let's kind of think through, you talked about your faith, you talked about your family, you talked about your fitness and your finances. What was the fifth one?
Fun.
So
finances last. Fun is very important as well.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question. So have you thought about doing an in-person event?
I have. You're on the list, actually. If I pull up the list, let me do this actually, because I've got some pretty fun people in my life. I'll probably have to update the names on this list, but I can tell you off the back of my hand, you're on that list, Sirhan's on that list, Andy C's on that list, Scott McGilvery's on that list, Chris Doe's on that list, Benji Travis, Sean Cannell, and I can go on and on and on. And actually, a bunch of people that are on this wall are on that list, and some people on this wall don't even know me yet and are gonna be on that list because I'm gonna put their names there. And I've titled it Super Summit, where I would bring in both sides, real estate, marketing, and media, and do a super big event. But I don't think I'm at the phase of my life now where I have the capacity to run an event like that. And I would probably want to partner with somebody like a Ryan or a Scott, let their team run the actual event, and then bring in people to just collaborate in a space kind of similar to what Neil Dinga just did. I knew Neil before he really blew up, and I mean, we've been talking back and forth for years, and I'm so happy to see what that dude's done because he got focused. And I could see that being in my future at some point, just probably not in this season.
I love it. Okay. So, but have you been to the US since the pandemic?
Oh yeah. We were allowed to go back. I don't even know, end of 2022. So we go back and forth. I haven't really traveled as much. I'm going to sell it in September. That'll be the first kind of big event that I go to.
Yeah. And, I reached out. So I hope that I'm going to be able to swing that to come and kind of do that with you. I'd love to just kind of hang out. And I love anything that Ryan does. And I think that he's, so talented, and he has the ability to bring together amazing people. And I think that, again, as a leader in our industry, you really have had that as well. Are you still doing a lot with Breakfast of Champions?
No, I landed that plane back it's been a while ago. I want to say December of last year. I did a big time audit, and I looked at the season of life that I was in and where I was going into the next season. And I used to run my own clubhouse rooms. I had a segment on Breakfast of Champions, and I'm still friends with all those guys. But I just said I can't commit to being there every day at 7 a.m. because of the YouTube channel. I actually wanted to do more focused content for agents on my channel. So I had to redeploy my time on my calendar to the places where it should be, right?
And so on your YouTube channel, you have a lot of you have buyer, seller, investor, but you also have agent tips. Oh gosh, I have so many questions around that. Because I'm not that YouTube thing that scares me so much. I have not really fallen in love with that, and you have really done great on YouTube. You've done really well on LinkedIn, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that you also love X.
I do. I spend time on there. Yeah, I'm pretty focused on the people I speak to on that platform, it's a moving target. Like I think the people that I spend the most time with on X would be commercial real estate agents and YouTubers randomly. There's some economists that are on there, and there were some rooms that were being hosted on X by Daniel Foch and a few other people. But I've also found it very helpful for press. So I just launched a listing. There was a big fire in it, one of the most historic homes in London. And one of the press guys found me through X and is coming to do a story on it on Thursday. So I'm trying to be very thoughtful about like LinkedIn's B2B, and each platform has its own purpose. Instagram is more like it's more of like my actual vlog. Like you follow my stories, you can kind of see what I'm up to, and you DM me. That's where you like text message me. And I think for me, YouTube is the one platform that doesn't really cross pollinate and is very focused at finding me more of the right people. And that's why I'm getting more and more focused on YouTube. Is of all of my platforms, it's actually probably generated the most business if I really think about it. So I'm just trying to get a lot more clear to tell Google, hey, these are the types of people that I need to speak to, and create content specifically for those people.
So, Justin, I got to tell you, I was really thinking you were going to show up in your 3-piece suit with your pink tie.
For sure. My branded image. Yeah.
Are you in a flannel?
I am. Yeah. Yeah. I'm Canadian. It is Burberry. So it's a nice, very nice flannel, but yes.
I love it. I love it. So, Justin, in a perfect world, what does the next 12 months look like for you? What happens in the next 12 months that really makes you say, holy cow, I never would have thought 12 months ago this is where I would be?
I think operationally, we're really trying to level up on the transaction management and marketing side of what we're doing at Prime in a very big way. So if we found like 2 key players and just got absolute killers, I think it would unlock a lot of our time. My sales team as well, we've done a lot of work in the last year to dial in our sales process from lead intake to delivery of execution, and they're absolutely killing it. So I think having the leaders in that position step up to fill that role. So I'm not physically running the training every single week, but I am there for vision strategy. And then on the back end, I think, me putting out, I would probably say 2 or 3 vlogs a week on my YouTube channel, because I actually really enjoy doing it consistently. And then I guess on the back end, having more time to run the business with my wife, because I actually think like when we've been in the car a lot together lately, we are absolute killers. Like I find that when we're together, it's better than any other time, right? So I think her and I getting more united and spending more time physically together will lead to a lot more execution on the business side.
I love it. So, Justin, that makes my heart happy. It makes my heart dance to hear that. You talk about your wife and your daughter with such reverence, and it is so, just makes my heart go pitter patters. I love it. So, Justin, where can my audience find you? Where do you want them to go?
Obviously YouTube. That's probably the one place if you want to see behind the scenes, but then Instagram's the other one. If they want direct access to me, they want access to the course I'm going to do on time management and that private Zoom call, I'd say those are the 2 platforms to find me on.
And it's just Justin Konikow, correct?
Keep it simple. Konikow. There is a gentleman who I think ran a male burlesque club and had a DUI in Vegas with the same name as me, which is totally random. And he kind of looks like the same age and dark hair. But I've outranked him in SEO. So chances are, if you go to Instagram and you see this face, it should be me, but just make sure that you're actually talking to me.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Justin, I love that. That's hilarious. What a way to close this out.
What a way to end it, right?
This is Justin the real estate agent, not Justin the stripper.
That's right. Correct.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So, Justin, thank you so much for your time and your talent. I have loved having you on. I am going to do everything I can to get to New York in September just to see you and hug your face. I will tell you, you have brought so much value into my life, but into my business as well. And I just feel honored that I have the opportunity to know you, that we crossed paths in an app called Clubhouse, 4 years ago. And it has really, really, really worked well for us. So thank you so much for being here.
I got a massive amount of admiration for how you run your business, your client care. I think your superpower too is you really empathize and look at people as more than just what you see on the outside, right? So I think you draw the best out of people. And I think being surrounded by people that drive you make your beliefs in what's possible much bigger than it would be on your own. So I appreciate you very much as well.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Glennda Baker. I am a real estate agent in Atlanta, Georgia. Today I had the opportunity to sit down with Justin Konikow in London, Ontario, Canada, my guru for the day. And as I always say, send me a text, tag me in a post, give me a call. That's what I love the most because I love the opportunity to talk real estate with you today. See you guys.